Hey guys, how's it going? Today's video, I just want to cover simple hacks that can increase the longevity of ad creatives, and then also I want to cover a post I made on Twitter that will really break things down to a T in terms of how everything just coincides and how everything flows together, especially when in the TikTok space, right? There's a lot of variables, a lot of moving parts. A lot of people aren't really aware of how to scale properly and what that looks like. So I wanted to cover all of this in today's video. So simple hacks how to increase longevity of ad creatives. If you did not know, TikTok ad fatigue is very different than any other platform. It's by far the fastest way to experience fatigue. Because like on Facebook, I mean, you can have decent creatives, decent ad copy. That could last anywhere from a month, 2 months without any fluctuation of ROAS. It's very different when you do scale and push to scale when you're increasing the budget. Like you're not gonna have a guarantee idea that you can sustain consistency because the algorithm's all over the place, right? With just CPMs rising and everything else. But with TikTok, you're able to establish some form of consistency. But the thing is, the opportunity cost on that is you have ad fatigue very, very quickly, because what works well on TikTok is just broad targeting, right? Since we're targeting very, very broad, there's no set demographic or detailed targeting. From there, your content's getting shown to a ton of people in the space. So a lot of eyes on that creative, more so than, let's say, a Facebook ad, just because TikTok's more so content consuming platform, whereas Facebook's community driven, story posts, and there's less access to people actually viewing the content, right? When you're running an ad on TikTok, people are always scrolling. They're scrolling on the feed, scrolling on viewing content on the For You page. So from there, fatigue's just going to be very, very different. And I've experienced this with one of our recent clients, right? Where we had a CPA anywhere from $11, $13. It was great, but the thing is, after a week and a half, just difficult to sustain and maintain that, because we saw the ad campaigns actually fatiguing with the budget staying the same, but more so the results were starting to rise up. Like the CPA was at, like I said, $11 to $13. We saw that raise to like $18, right? Given like the last period. And that's normal. It's a normal process. It's a normal way to just really have that understanding, so that when you do kind of pivot from Facebook to a TikTok platform, this is not something new to you. You know how to really prepare for this, because a lot of people believe they can get by with just like 10 pieces of content or 10 pieces of UGC for a single month, and really you need like 20, 30 pieces of UGC, right? So here's a simple hack to increase the longevity of each ad creative, and I want to break it down for you guys so you have some understanding. So in terms of the objections I get when hopping on calls with people is like, oh, first things first, TikTok just isn't for my brand. I don't have the audience there. TikTok's really changing in the demographic. I mean, you have anywhere from 18 to 50-year-olds reading the content because it's so content driven. Like, we have a ton of people on Facebook that are older. Same is happening with TikTok. You're seeing a shift right now, right? It's just a different way of consuming content. Also, I just use Facebook ads and launched them via TikTok, right? This is huge. Like, people try to give TikTok a shot, but they just use the content they've ran in the past from Facebook. That doesn't work. You need to have, TikTok's a completely different platform with creative, so you have to adjust accordingly. And then also, I had another objection. Like, I tried ads with only 10 pieces of UGC, and it didn't work out. Well, duh, it's not going to work out if you're only having a limited amount of UGC. You need more. You need like 30 pieces, right? So in this post, I want to clarify the TikTok creative game and the points of like how you can create more variations on, let's say you have 30 pieces of content. How do you go about creating variations on those pieces of content, right? So every successful TikTok campaign follows the structure of like intro, hook, bridge, before and after, and then call to action, especially for the paid ad side of things, right? So if you can follow this blueprint to a T, and you build around 3 to 4 variations of content for just like 10 pieces of UGC, that doubles, right? If you're able to create 3 or 4 variations off, let's say, each piece of content and just move clips together, well, then you can go from 10 pieces of UGC to then you can have anywhere from 15 to 20 pieces of UGC to launch as variations once campaigns start to fatigue out. So imagine when you have 30 pieces of UGC in the vault for 1 month, right? And then you could really just create 60 pieces of UGC from variations on top of variations. So in terms of what do I mean by create variations on top of variations, right? Well, it's simple. Key components that you can interchange when it comes to content side of things is, of course, angles, hooks, keywords, music. Like trending sounds is very, very huge with a strong call to action, right? Literally, these are the variables you can change, and it'll give you a completely new experience in terms of what advertising, when advertising, let's say, very, very broad, right? So, interchanging clips and moving them around, as well as will allow you to deal with ad fatigue as time passes. When I mention like hooks, right, you can test different terms of keywords or a part of the script, right? Music's huge. Like popular music on that's consistent on the For You page, it's going to allow you to have deal with the ad fatigue, right? Because we're changing variables here. We have a basic creative that has a basic sound to it. Like changing the music on that is really huge, because if you're using viral sounds, even organically, you could see just let's say you run a split test, you're gonna see different results just because of the music, what people are accustomed to. Because let's say like a popular song, people are more willing to, since they already know the framework of that song and they know the idea of it, they're more likely to stay and watch that compared to a song they've never heard of, or it's not really popular, right? Keywords huge too, in terms of like text to speech, right? People connect with a certain words when they come across a campaign very differently compared to, let's say, just a basic, like you have nothing relating to their needs, their problems, or their wants, right? Call to actions as well. Like I like to play on scarcity or urgency here, right? It's either one or the two. You can't really do both. But when you're playing on scarcity, you're driving more of the market to make an action, right? To go make a purchase, compared to like urgency, more so limited time offer, get this before it runs out. We're raising the prices after this date, right? So it's very important to test out those different variables. And when you put all these variables together, you change the keywords, you change the music, you change the hooks, you change the angles, and you have different calls to action. Well, that just creates a completely separate or different form of UGC than you initially had, right? So variables you can change will give you a completely new experience when advertising to a very broad audience, right? So interchanging clips, moving them around as well, will allow you to deal with ad fatigue as time passes, right? What do I mean? Let's say you have like a clip that has an intro framework, like follows the before and after, right? The thing is, you can interlock or you can interchange clips, right, to just create a whole different piece of content altogether, right? So this is what I mean by interchanging clips. Like you can have, let's say, an unboxing video, but let's say you also have a different variation of content, like 3 reasons why I do this. Well, then you can interchange those pieces and combine them together. Like the intro would be 3 reasons I got this, and then in that you're showing the unboxing video with that, right? So instead of just having one basic UGC storyline, you're interchanging all the pieces of content. I hope that makes sense. And TikTok is a very different game compared to Facebook. I mean, you have to invest in creatives in order to have a chance to even scale. This isn't just like a simple ad where you can just type up some decent copy and launch. Your focus should be, of course, on getting impulse purchases and just studying the game overall. If you can be patient and create native UGC, then your chances of scaling effectively are better than most noobs out there who've never been in the TikTok space, right? So UGC is not hard to create, and the blueprint I've shared multiple times, multiple PDFs and other videos, right, really works well. But in terms of, let's say, I don't know where to find these clips, I don't know what to create, I'm kind of at a loss. Go into the TikTok Creative Center, you can go and click on like trending. From there, that keyword, like you can look at trending sounds, trending clips on a 7 to 30 day period, right? So the goal is for us not to reinvent the wheel, but of course it's to build on what is already working to amplify that for our own success, right? We want to get purchases with the least amount of work possible, and if we can do that and funnel hack what's already working for a specific creator, a specific brand, then it makes sense for us to then build on top of that for our own brand or for our own products, right? We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. And I see that too many times when people do launch UGC. Also, if you're not following me on Twitter, you need to follow me. This is huge. I drop a ton of gems. But in terms of media buying, right? I came across somebody in the group I was in. He was like, "Dude, you don't launch campaigns with direct to conversions." I'm like, "No, bro. We're trying to optimize. Like, we're trying to build out the pixel and warm everything up, especially if it's a brand that has never launched ads before, right?" So here's my input on why when you do launch campaigns, you shouldn't optimize for purchases straight away. First things first, of course, the pixel isn't established as, let's say, a Facebook pixel. In terms of what do I mean? Well, Facebook's pixel is more seasoned than TikTok. The TikTok pixel, there's spend issues, especially when you first launch out, when you're scaling, right? Maybe an ad set or ad group isn't going to get the necessary budget that you allocate to it just because the pixel is somewhat newer, right? And as well as like, I've done it before with other brands as well. Well, we go straight for conversions. From there, we scale up, and it's just horrible because either ad groups aren't getting spent the proper amount, CPA is going to fluctuate, and also when we do try to push the scale, right, this is issue on who we're targeting, right, in terms of what's happening, what's working. So in terms of how to scale efficiently and how to get the most stable results when you do scale, it's important that you're training the pixel brick by brick. You're laying down the foundation. Almost treat the TikTok pixel as a child, right? So the first thing we want to do is train it to at least get initiate checkouts. Because if we get 1,000 initiate checkouts, from there we're able to get out of the learning phase. And on top of that, right, we're training the pixel to then have the right target the right customer behavior, right? So the process will be 1,000 initiate checkouts to 1,000 add to carts to then 1,000 completed purchases, right? So we're training the pixel to kind of be a terminator to target. Okay, hit these people, get them to check out. From there, it's like, okay, then we want to smooth it out to then make sure it converts when we do get 1,000 add to carts. And then when we go to purchases, well, then it's done the work of course, finding the customer behavior, targeting the right customer avatar, scaling without flaws and spinning issues, and then we're able to establish consistency with results. And actually, as we scale up, the CPA is going to go down compared to it continuously rising up and down if we don't lay the foundation, right? So in terms of the process, if you don't do that, if you go straight to conversions, well, the results are going to fluctuate. CPAs are all over the place, and you're more likely to have spinning issues compared to have a TikTok pixel if you're seizing it and warming it up step by step and training it to have the right action so that you can get results, right? So you can literally increase the ad budget 20 to 30% in a single day for results, and without worrying about results not dropping one bit and changing, if you train the pixel to become like a terminator. And this is how you're going to find success long term. So this is like my feedback. I'll make another post breaking down the media buying side of things. But really, if you focus on the foundation, right, you have the right creatives, and you create variations on the creatives, and then you follow this process in terms of media buying, well, then you're more likely to have consistent results at scale when let's say you're spending $1,000 per day in ad spend, right? From there, because it's a very, very different game, and it's very difficult for you to scale if your results are all over the place, right? So if you follow this method to a T, this will get you great results for you to sustain that over a long period of time. So that's all I have for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you don't know, right, I'm pivoting a bit with offers, right? We're capturing a wider net of people. This can be like e-com brand owners who need help with content creation. We can help with that. If you're trying to grow organically, we can help you with that. If you're a coach, consultant, trying to scale your offer, build out your audience, we can help you with that. Also, we're rolling out like a consulting offer where we help like e-com brand owners pivot from, let's say, outsourcing to an agency to then building that in-house, building out an in-house system for creatives, for media buyers, all that good stuff. So we're able to establish ourselves and bring what we have on our back end to other e-com brand owners to help them scale to like 7 figures. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you. Bye-bye.